In this video, we will cover the secondary click menu on the timeline clock. Again, to secondary click, the default option that should work on all Macs is holding the Control key while clicking. The first and default option on the secondary click menu for the timeline clock is Use Movie Time. This option will simply use the time for the video that is in the movie package. So if the video is 30 minutes long, the timeline clock will show 30 minutes at the end of the timeline. To access the secondary click menu, hold Control and click on the clock in the top left of the timeline. As you can see, Use Movie Time has a check mark next to it and is already selected. The next option in the secondary click menu we'll go over is Set Current Movie Time to 0. This option can be useful in sports with a running clock, such as soccer. With this feature, you can match up the timeline clock with the game clock. So using that example, I'll move my playhead to the beginning of the game. Then I will Control click on the timeline clock and click on Set Current Movie Time to 0. You'll see the timeline clock change to all zeros. It's important to note that the timeline itself will not change to reflect this, just the timeline clock. The last option in this secondary click menu is called Set Timecode. This option allows you to change the timeline clock start time. So again, thinking about a running clock sport such as soccer, if you miss capturing the beginning of the game, but you still want the timeline clock to reflect the game clock, this would be the option you would use. So let's say, for example, that I missed the first 10 minutes and 27 seconds of the game time. I would set my playhead to the beginning of the timeline, then Control click on the timeline clock and click on Set Timecode. In this window, I can set the time I want my timeline clock to start at. So in this case, we'll say that it was 10 in this box for the minutes and 27 in this box for the seconds. Click OK, and you can see that with the playhead at the beginning of the timeline clock is at 10 minutes and 27 seconds.